Well, morning, fellow zombies. It's 4:13 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. It's excuse me, Wednesday, the 7th of June, 2023. This is the Diary of the Griever named John Weaver, which would be me, coming at you from Rosamond, California, the armpit of the Antelope Valley. Well, what's going on, guys? I did a few videos yesterday. They were aimed at a particular online personality out there that I wanted to tell him what was going on. And I hope he had a chance to take a look at the videos. Recovery is the most important thing in our lives. It's not exactly what we're taught, it's what we experience. I didn't want it a long time ago. It's the saying in my stories, I didn't want it. I didn't think recovery was possible until I saw my brother going through it. Things like that should have given me hope, except I really wasn't ready for it for me. For my brother, yeah. Because I didn't want my brother to kill himself. And he damn near did that. He would tell you the stories if he was still alive about his recovery, about how he damn near lost it, how I almost lost my big brother. And that usually affects me a great deal more than what I can say about it. I loved my brother growing up. David W. Shaw. Middle name was Worth, and he was worth every penny of it. We had two fathers. My brother was the oldest. He was 8 years, 7.5, nearly 8 years, technically speaking. My mother was a 15-year-old, but very much looking like a young woman. His father was an army cook coming out of the war. He fell in love with my mother somehow. They couldn't marry where they were in the state of Utah, so they got married somehow in Texas. And she was so in love with him. Quite a bit of a charmer. My brother would tell me that his father would tell stories like crazy. Tall tales. My mother, I guess, fell for him, I guess. She didn't even get a chance to complete school. Didn't even get a chance to graduate out of anything. But she was a voracious reader, and she would read newspapers, books, anything to increase her knowledge, her vocabulary, her knowledge base. She was very intelligent. And my brother was born 58. And I guess for less than a year, my mother was looking at the darker side. And she was getting sick and tired of it because one day he come in and beat the hell out of her and passed out drunk. She got sick and tired of it. While he was drunk, she tied him up, beat the crap out of him, grabbed my brother, made off back for Utah. But also, she had managed to go through the court systems to get a divorce because of domestic violence. Apparently, my mother and my grandmother probably had separations or something like that. I don't know, but they made the way to California. So, somewhere in the city of Los Angeles, found a place, and Ma had an elder sister out there who had daughters of her own, and they'd raised David. My mother had to go out looking for work and looking for another place to live, and it took her a few years apparently. My brother would see her from time to time, and she was still busy getting a place and trying to secure it and trying to get the money going so she could take David and live there. That was the plan. That's what she kept telling her sister. Apparently, the sisters had other ideas. David was getting used to the idea of living out in Huntington Park. I don't know, the way the stories were getting telling me. The family decided that Ma was not to be trusted with my brother somehow because of all the abandonment issues. Ma was not abandoning him. No way. She just wanted to get a place and get a job going where she could take care of David. Well, pissed off the family, not to mention our grandmother, who was the matriarch. And they decided to relocate from Huntington Park to Bell. So Dave spent little part of his youth out there, but he was acting out because he felt that the aunt and uncle he was staying with were the mother and father at this point. He was somewhat knowing that he had a biological father, but things were getting dicey during that time. I mean, my brother had a hell of a time trying to grow up, and when I was born, I didn't exactly make life fun for him either. Ma and Dave settled out in North Hollywood. Grandma was still out in Bell, and so was the aunt, uncle, and the three daughters. And when I was born, I was the medical case of the family. Didn't even realize it, but I was a sickly kid. My brother had the issues, and he had to get help. Stuff he didn't want to talk about to anybody else about because it was still hurting him. But on some occasions, he actually would share about it. Well, the help he got, Ma had to be enlisted into it too. So while Ma was trying to take care of that situation, Grandma came over on a lot of occasions to take care of me. And he was starting to feel protective about his young brother. Because now he's got someone important to look after and protect. And we grew up. David was, you know, not trying to be all that rough, but, I was trying to catch up after heart surgery. He couldn't really play with me when I was a young kid because I had heart issues. Mitral valves leaking. One they sewed, the other one they patched, and the other one they left alone because I kept dying on them too many damn times. Go upstairs, go back downstairs. Go back upstairs, downstairs. Good Lord. No wonder I was a mess. My brother had to endure it all, and the thing that he wrote to the doctors during the heart operation was Please, doctor, don't let my brother die. Ma kept that note for so many years. Ma kept held on to a lot of things. I just wish she kept a hold of my report cards. That would have been something to see. Anyway, I understood what a friend of mine online was talking about concerning my recovery. And he never encountered people in a recovery program in his adulthood that would actually piss him off. Part of my story. I'd seen my brother go into the Navy. The precursors of having the addiction issues, which he initiated somehow because of things happening in the Navy that really did a number on him. A lot of things in the Navy he wasn't ready to talk about until later on. And sometimes I feel like I am not telling it to the public just yet. I won't do that to my brother. No, it's called respecting him. Even after death, I gotta give him some respect anyway. I can tell you that the addiction situation that he suffered through had taken a toll. A few years after he's out, he's really putting a strain on me at this time. I mean, I think he came back in 83, 84, just in time for Grandma's funeral. He came out. He damn near killed himself. When I graduated out of school in 85, Ma was getting sick and tired of him and his antics. Getting drugged out, smoking like crazy outside. Actually, she just got the drinking and the behavior, the stealing of the money. I got sick and tired of the damn thing too. She threw his ass out. And during that time, I had a weight problem. She wanted to get taken care of because Dexatrim was sure as hell wasn't going to take care of it. I'll tell you one thing concerning about the drug Dexatrim. It was supposed to be keeping you off of, it was trying to keep the weight off of you. The highly touted Dexatrim drugs that they sold over the counter and not by prescription. This stuff was speed. My brother was already hooked on damn marijuana and he was already hooked on alcohol. He drink. He didn't have beer at home. He'd go to bars and drink over there and get into fights or do stupids. Barely managed to make his ass home every single time. One time he left the car at one particular bar. Didn't realize where the hell he was until he got back home. Throw up. I'd seen him, just wasn't my brother anymore. It was something else. Anyway, my mother was overweight. She had an eating disorder. She loved her candy too damn much. You don't ever touch her candy. No, you don't touch my mother's candy. No, 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 no. You don't touch the candy. Certain brands she'd love. Certain brands she wanted. Certain brands you don't touch. She loved her Mounds, her Almond Joy. Snickers was not her candy bar. Snickers was mine. She'll do it with Hershey's. It got to the point where she had to start taking Dexatrim just to keep the damn weight off and speed. increased her metabolism to the point where she was barely eating and losing muscle mass just to get a shape going. And she'd be running around all the damn place. My brother had taken some of her Dexatrim, kind of pissed her off. And David was doing the same damn thing, running around like crazy. He had the energy, he could barely sleep, barely eat. So he was hooked on that shit. I was seeing it in front of my face. Well, I had to go to Overeaters Anonymous. Someone suggested that to her, that she'd go over to OA for her weight problems. And she made connections with people in AA. That's where she got a number and a contact. When we threw out my brother, she had already had enough of my brother's behavior. And he scared me. My own big brother scared me because I didn't know what the hell he was doing. I don't know who he became. He goes, try this. I was going to high school, junior year, and there was a message from my brother's dealer on the phone. Called. I opened up my brother's bedroom door. Messes as hell. I mean, I thought mine was messy, but shit. I'm a neat freak next to him. Anyway, I opened up the door and there's a gun sticking in front of my face. There's a barrel. 6-shooter. All I could see is the barrel. This long ass tube. And I'm looking at the damn thing. I said, Dave, your dealer's on the phone. Alright, I'll be right there. Okay, close the door. I didn't realize this particular gun had a hair trigger. He could have shot me and not care about it. That's how scary he was. We threw his ass out. Like a few years when we moved from one place to another place. Senior year, just graduated. And plans to go into college. I had the plans. And I'm just still deciding because I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. But I see my brother losing it. Losing it. Just, we had enough. He was out the door. Pack of trash, get out of here. He packed his trash, he got out of there. Threw his clothes in his car and he sped off. Ford Maverick. That Maverick served him well. Anyway, the adventures or misadventures put him to the point where he was getting sick and tired. I remember I was on my way to another job and I saw my brother literally needing money because he needed to get food, but more than that, he needed to get drugs. Felt sorry for the bastard and I gave it to him. My mother was still sharing and pouring her heart out in the meetings and also trying to go out there finding him. My brother was nowhere in the valley. We all lived in the San Fernando Valley from 68 all the way through 2005. So we grew up in there. That was our home. Prices got so damn bad we had to move out of the valley, but that's other tapes on that one. One day my brother comes back. It's like a few months later and he's a zombie. No, I'll take that back. He's a skeleton. He just came out of Northridge Hospital doing a 5150 over there. I'm hearing the stories in the meeting halls on this one. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. He always did that. He damn near killed himself. My brother had a gun with rounds. The revolver I was telling you about, one with the hair trigger. Two times he filled the chamber. He's in a motel room out in, somewhere out in Van Nuys, along Sepulveda Boulevard. He's sick and tired of being sick and tired at this point over here. He wants to out. He can't deal with it. He can't go back home. Things have happened to him that really tore his ass apart to the point where he was just going to check it out. First rounds, he loads up, tries to, pulls the trigger, hammer hits, nothing happens. 6 times. Takes out the rounds, not even spent. But the firing pin had been hit. So, fresh rounds. Nothing. Son of a bitch takes the gun, slams it. The barrel's pointing at the door, and there's a door. There's a hole right in the door. I'm hearing this thing for first time in the meetings. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I'm hearing him tell this damn story, and he never even told me after he came back in recovery. Fuck. It was the most humiliating, embarrassing thing he could ever say about how he got in. The cops took pity on his ass. Someone recognized him being in the military. Brought him over to the hospital. I was doing the 5150. And he met up with a shrink over there who was a Marine. Asked him a few questions, kicked him out. My brother crawls home, and I didn't want him there. I didn't want him there, period. I didn't know who the hell he was. But I had to call Ma to find out. Ma told me that you do what you can. I'll be there in a little while. If he wants cigarettes, you go get it with him. If he wants something, you're going to get it for him. But you have him with you all times. I'll be there shortly. My brother wanted help. My brother wanted his family back. And he was struggling like a son of a bitch. I couldn't believe I was seeing this in my brother. I didn't want him back. I didn't know who the hell this ranger was. I really didn't. That was the hardest part right there, just looking at him and seeing a ghost right there, and I'm just seeing a skeleton. But we managed to fix dinner together. Chicken, potatoes, vegetables, baked chicken. Just get the table set up for us. Ma goes into her bedroom, changes, and gets out and says, I'm heading to a meeting. We didn't have a microwave during that time. She would eat her food cold. She came back with a warning from my brother. Here's a phone number that you're going to call in the morning. You don't call this number in the morning, you're out of here. Ma spent all night watching him as he's laying on the couch. She didn't trust him in the bedroom. Dave still had a bed in the bedroom, but it was the couch he slept on. She would get up in the middle of the night every so often just to see if he was still breathing, and he was barely breathing. Next morning, my brother's picking up the phone, and he's calling. This guy would help him out for the next 2 or 3 days, get him to a meeting, and after that, it was my brother's, my brother was on his own to get to a meeting. If my brother needed gas money, he had to get the money himself. Basically, he still had enough blood in his veins to get him a few bucks. I had gone to Overeaters Anonymous with my ma, and I was seeing my brother going through this as well because we were there for ma, supporting her. And we met some people. We met some very good people in there that also helped out with my brother's recovery just by being there. And I really didn't know what the hell the 12 step was all about. Are you kidding me? I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it in action. I'm seeing overeaters. But I didn't realize it was coming out of Alcoholics Anonymous until my brother was dragging me to the meeting. Well, actually, I was under orders to be with him while he's going to his meetings. My brother would be sober, but not clean for the first 30 days. But he was doing the marijuana maintenance. Money wasn't being stolen out of Mom's purse, thank God. And he managed to make restitutions to the motel regarding replacement of the door. That way it kept him out of my brother out of jail during that time. But I'm sitting in an A hall, seeing guys and ladies and gentlemen laughing at each other and laughing with each other. And it's like, what the hell is this place again? I'm seeing plaques all over the wall concerning about uh, the phrases that they would use all the time. And there was another two large plaques they actually had. The 12 steps and then the 12 traditions. And there was a sign right above the podium that said, "We care," with the circle and the triangle in it. And I'm looking at this. Where the hell am I again? Bam, 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 goes the podium. Somebody's up there. And my brother's looking. He's still trying to recover. Some of these people are starting to gather around my brother just to see if this newcomer's going to last or not. I'm such and such, and I'm an alcoholic. Will you please join me in a serenity prayer? God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can we get a volunteer to do chapter 3? And here comes my brother. My brother's getting up. First 30 days, he was trying to get out of himself, getting into service. So he's getting up on the stage. Hi, my name is David, and I'm an alcoholic, I think. Hi, David. Third tradition, chapter 3. How? Oh, good Lord. It's been a while since I've been in a meeting. I need to get back into the damn 12 and 12 books again. Hang on a second. Shows you how long ago I haven't used this damn thing. I'm still blowing dust off of it. Dave and I hadn't been in a meeting in a hell of a long while. And this is the most important book. I haven't got this thing changed in a hell of a long while. And to tell you the truth, I wish I had gotten back into the meetings these days, because I sure as hell would need it. Chapter to the agnostic, more about alcoholism. Chapter 3 and Chapter 5 were usually read. Chapter 3 would be telling more about alcoholism, and then Chapter 5 would say how it works. Dave and I had gotten to a bookstore, and I think I picked this thing out. And I haven't picked this thing up since David died. But I'll do another video on this one here.